Hello, my name is Jennifer Soki and I'm the Instructional Services Director for Algray Sims School District, and I'd like to welcome you to our very first Mrs. Soki Storytime. We have a commitment to literacy within our district, and it's very important to us that we instill a love of learning and literature within all of our students. In an effort to do that, I'm going to be recording a nightly read aloud that I will be posting up on our district social media pages. The link that I post will then take you to a YouTube page which I'm creating, where I will house all of the read alouds that I post up every night. That way you can subscribe to the channel, and then you can go back and rewatch any of the read alouds at any time. So if your child has a story that they love to hear, or if you're riding in the car and they would like to hear a story, you can access that YouTube page and rewatch any of the videos. The first story that I would like to share with you is a story called Crickwing. And this is a story that I used to share with my fourth graders a long time ago, and I loved it so much that I needed to have it as part of my own personal library. This is by an author named Janell and she's also the author of a story called Stella Luna. So if you're familiar with Stella Luna, then you've already met this author. Okay. Far below the great forest canopy lies a shadowy world that many insects call home. Among the damp clutter of fallen leaves and branches, leaf-cutting ants toil all day while large cockroaches await their evening search for food. One cockroach had looked like all the others until a close call with a hungry toad. In his wild escape from the toad's sticky tongue, he had twisted one of his fine long wings. Since then, everyone called him Crickwing. Crickwing despised his nickname, and he avoided hearing it by staying far away from the other creatures. He would sneak out to find his food when the night was darkest, knowing that the forest was crawling with predators even worse than the ravenous toads. The forest seemed much less fearsome whenever Crickwing found a nice pile of tasty leaves, roots, and petals. He took comfort in their bright colors and interesting shapes, and he often built sculptures from them before he ate them. When he was busy playing with his food, he could almost forget the pain in his crooked wing. One night, Crickwing created his most wonderful sculpture ever. He was so absorbed in his work that he didn't hear the soft footsteps behind him. Pow! Swoosh! A sharp-eyed monkey clobbered Crickwing and swiped his sculpture. Crickwing dived for cover. "I only let him get away with that because he's so big," he grumbled, cowering under a rotten log. Crickwing hid until the next night, when hunger drove him out to search for a meal. But as soon as he had added the final flower petal to his dinner, an enormous scaly lizard nearly gulped him down. Crickwing dodged, and the lizard took off with his edible artwork. "Another masterpiece ruined," Crickwing panted. "I'm starving and my wing aches. I don't know if I can take this much longer." The next night, things got even worse. An ocelot pounded and nearly crushed Crickwing. When he darted away, the ocelot scooped him up in her massive paw and threw him high into the air. "Oh no!" Crickwing wailed. "Not again!" When he landed, Crickwing scrambled in a panic and leaped into a crevice under a stone, where he collapsed into angry tears. "I am so tired of having to run from giant predators," he seethed. "I hate being so small, and I hate never being able to finish a meal. I am a mere exoskeleton." Through the long night, Crickwing's wing throbbed as he waited in his hideout. Many hours later, sunlight streamed into his cave, and the leaf-cutting ants began another busy day. Thousands of the tiny workers carried large slices of leaves back to their colony. Crickwing, groggy and still angry, crept out for a better look. "Ha! These guys are even punier than I am," he muttered. None of these ants seemed to even notice him. Crickwing inched closer. "There's something about these antsy critters that just bugs me. Why isn't anyone bothering these little twerps?" He placed a spiny leg across the leaf-cutter path. "Well, let's see what happens now," he chortled. "Have a nice trip. See you next fall." Several ants stumbled, but then went back to work as if Crickwing weren't even there. "This will get their attention," he growled, picking up a leaf from the path. The ant carrying the leaf hung on tight, which gave Crickwing a dastardly idea. He hung several ants from a vine, one by one, and watched with glee as their tiny legs flailed. Crickwing laughed so hard that he nearly forgot his aching wing. That night, Crickwing wolfed down a sweet flower bud, not even noticing its dazzling purple color. He had work to do. Right in the middle of the leaf-colored trail, he dug a deep hole in the ground, and then he crouched behind a rock, waiting to see what the ants would do. In the very early dawn, the ants rose as usual and went to work. When they returned, their cargo clamped in their jaws. They could barely see their way. They plummeted into the trap, piling into a great green heap. "These muddling molecules are so easy to fool," snorted Crickwing. Back in the leafcutter colony, the queen of the ants called a meeting. "This week's production is down," she barked. "What on earth is going on?" "It's a cockroach, Your Highness," stammered Tara. "He's picking on us," added Gravel. "No cockroach meddles with our colony. Seize him," ordered the queen. The next morning, the ants found Crickwing fussing with his latest ant trap. He had no chance for escape as thousands of leafcutters swarmed over him, dragged him back to the anthill, and marched him down the dark, winding corridors. When the tunnels narrowed, the ants crammed Crickwing through one final tight spot. Pop! His wings snapped back into place, and he realized that the throbbing ache was gone. Before he could give it another thought, the ants pulled their prisoner into a chamber and buried him up to his neck. For hours, the whole colony filed by, whispering to one another, "How do you think he became so awful?" And, "His mother must be heartbroken." "That big oaf showed up just in time for the annual peace offering to the army ants," crowed the queen. "There's no way they'll attack us if we hand this hefty no-gooder over to them. Truss him up like the fat turkey that he is and ship him out." The leafcutters bound Crickwing, hauled him back through the dim tunnels, and carried him up into the forest. The ants hiked in silence for a long time. "I can't do this," Eartha blurted at last. "Neither can I," Tara shuddered. "Remember the giant beetle that we brought to the army ants last year?" "Yeah, they took him apart before we could even turn around and leave," quavered Gravel. Crickwing gulped. "Nobody deserves that, not even this big bully," said Eartha. "I say let him go. He never really hurt any of us." "Well, what will we tell the queen?" Tara gasped. "And what about the army ants?" Gravel howled. "Well, they'll love our colony." "Well, I just can't watch them shred this guy," insisted Eartha. "We'll figure something out on the way back. Let's go." The ants released Crickwing and fled. Crickwing was stunned. The queen is going to have their heads, and the whole leafcutter colony is now in serious danger, all because of me. Now that his wing was no longer hurt, he could think clearly. "I have to do something, but what?" And then Crickwing had a brilliant idea. "Wait, wait," he yelled, racing after the leafcutters. "I can help, wait." He described his plan, and the ants listened carefully. "We'll have to move quickly, but if every ant pitches in, I think it will work," Crickwing said. "Can we trust this yahoo?" yelped Gravel. "Do we have much choice?" snapped Tara. "The plan is worth a try, and we'll do our best to win for the patience of the queen," Eartha promised. "But we don't have much time." "Jump on my back, all of you," said Crickwing. "I am one fast runner." In the far corner of the forest, in the army ant camp, The lieutenant paced angrily. "Those leaf-cutting fools are late," she snarled. "If we don't have our peace offering by tomorrow at dawn, we march in and take what is rightfully ours." As the hours passed, the army ants grew more agitated. At first light, the army swarmed from its nest, ready for conquest. "No one," shouted the lieutenant, "absolutely no one keeps the army ants waiting." They poured like an angry river down the trail to the leafcutter anthill. As the ferocious ants turned the final bend, they stopped dead in their tracks. For a long, silent moment, they stared at the hugest, strangest, greenest anteater they had ever seen. It loomed high over them, its terrible tongue dangling from its mouth. The lieutenant's squeaky voice broke the quiet. "Halt! About face! Run away!" The army ants tripped over one another as they scrambled back towards their camp, none of them daring to look back. Crickwing and the leaf-cutting ants peered from atop the leaf ant-eater's head, watching the warriors fade into the forest. They all held their breath, and the entire terrified horde had vanished. Then the queen approached. "I don't think we'll be seeing them ever again, thanks to you and your enormous sculpture, Crickwing," she said. "Or shall we call you Straightwing now? We need someone to help us keep this anteater in order, so I hope that you will decide to join our colony. And I hear that you are an incredible chef." "Oh, I just like to play with my food," Crickwing replied. "And please, call me Crickwing, Your Highness. I would very much like to stay. The first thing I want to do is prepare a great celebration feast for everyone." 3 cheers for Crickwing," shouted Eartha, and all the ants joined the cheer and then rushed into the forest. They gathered the brightest flower petals they could find and cut them into sparkling bits. All night at the banquet, everyone threw flower confetti, danced the 6-step, and sang until the sunlight came creeping through the trees. The queen peeked at dawn and blinked drowsily. "I declare today a holiday," she yawned. "Hear, hear," said Crickwing, and for the first time in colony history, the leafcutters took a day off. And that is the end. I hope you enjoyed our very first story of Crickwing. Remember, you can always go back and rewatch the story again on our YouTube channel, and we will see you next time.